This is Sara, Beth, Fulford, Rhodes, your elected clerk of Superior Court of Pitt County. And I'm here to tell you a little bit of information about how the COVID virus has impacted operations at the courthouse. So first of all, I'd like to say that I hope you and your family are safe. I hope that you're staying at home as much as possible, that you're washing your hands frequently, that you're keeping a social distance from other people, which is supposed to be 6 feet or more, that if you go out in public and you're able to wear a mask or create a mask from a bandana or some cloth in your home. So first and foremost, I do hope you are staying safe. But I am going to share some information with you about what is going on at the courthouses, and some of this is also going on in courthouses across the state so that we can reduce the spread of the coronavirus. Your North Carolina Chief Justice Cherie Beasley has issued several orders since March the 13th, 2020 that impact operations at courthouses across the state, including the Pitt County Courthouse. So I'm going to go over some of those things with you. They include the postponement of certain types of courts. They include asking you not to come in the courthouse if you have risk factors or are experiencing virus-type symptoms. They include some information about domestic violence and marriages and things like that. So I'm going to start by telling you that the Chief Justice asked that you try not to visit courthouses across the state unless you have essential business. She specifically asked, and we have signs posted around the courthouse that remind people on the exterior doors not to come in the courthouse if you've been out of the country in the last 14 days, if you've been exposed to someone who's been out of the country in 14 days, if you have some signs or symptoms like flu-like symptoms or a fever, to please not come into the courthouse, or if you've been exposed to someone who's tested positive for the COVID virus, or you suspect they may have it and they're perhaps waiting for a test result. So please do not come to a courthouse, including the Pitt County Courthouse, if any of those risk factors apply to you. If for some reason you have a court date that is still being held at a courthouse across the state during April or May of 2020, please call the clerk's office first to let them know that you have concerns about exposure or symptoms. And in Pitt County, my office, the Pitt County Clerk of Superior Court's office, our number is 252-695-7100. That's our main office, and you can select an option for the department that you wish to speak. It could be option 1 for the criminal division. So in addition to asking that people try not to come into the courthouse unless it's absolutely essential, courthouses are open, but the security staff does ask that to make sure you don't have a fever or things like that before you come in. And different courthouses across the state may have a little bit different restrictions, but in Pitt County we are open, but we're limiting and have very limited foot traffic. We are asking you specifically to please call us first, especially at the clerk's office, 252-695-7100, to see if we can help you over the phone. So one of the things that Chief Justice Beasley has done to reduce the spread of the coronavirus at courthouses is to postpone many of the courts that normally would be held. She has postponed certain courts that are scheduled from March the 16th of 2020 through the end of May of 2020. These courts have been postponed until June 1st or after. These courts include most civil and criminal superior court matters, most district civil and criminal matters. This includes small claims or magistrate courts. This includes foreclosure hearings or most special proceedings that would be heard by me as the clerk of court and also the ex officio judge of probate, because I have jurisdiction over special proceedings and estate matters, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So a majority of our courts are postponed. So what happens if you had a court date and it was during this March 16th through the end of May, and it's one of the courts that is going to be postponed until June 1st or after. Let's take, for example, a traffic ticket. Traffic court is one of the courts that is get postponed. So if, let's say, you had a traffic ticket somewhere around April the 15th, clerk's offices, including ours across the state, are continuing, based on judge's orders, traffic tickets and other types of cases. Other judicial offices may be continuing certain types of cases, but our staff at the clerk's office are sending out continuances for all criminal cases. So we are mailing your new court date to you at your last known address that we have on file. We are mailing those out to you. We're mailing thousands of envelopes out each week. So hopefully you've already gotten that, or if your court date hasn't happened yet, hopefully you'll get that soon. If you don't get a letter about your court date and your concern, please know that first and foremost, your court date, your new court date, will not be before June the 1st. And it's very likely that it will be much later than June the 1st. But you can call our office at the Pitt County Clerk of Court. You can call 252-695-7100, and you can pick an option based on the type of case you have. If it was a traffic ticket, you can hit option 1, speak with our criminal division, and they will tell you what your new court date is. For instance, a lot of cases that were, say, around mid-April are very likely being continued to sometime around mid-July. In addition to calling the clerk's office and checking on your court date, you can go online to www.nccourts.gov. That's nccourts.gov. And there you can find court calendar searches. You can search your name to find your new court date. So certainly, if you have not gotten a letter about a new court date, please call the clerk's office at 695-7100, and we will be glad to help you. Now, other courts that are deemed essential or that protect people's rights, other courts are being held, but in a limited capacity. So the types of courts that we're still holding, we're having first appearances each morning at the jail to make sure people who've recently been arrested and are at the detention center get their constitutional right to a first appearance. If they have bonded out the night before, then they do come to the Pitt County Courthouse. They're told by the magistrate to do so they can have their first appearance at the Pitt County Courthouse. So either we're handling those each weekday at the jail or at the courthouse. We're also having superior and district criminal courts that impact rights. So if someone has been arrested on a probation violation, or perhaps they can have a bond hearing and maybe that bond can be reduced so they can be out while they await a trial date. Those types of hearing to protect constitutional rights are still going forward, but again, they're mostly dealing with people who are at this time in the jail, so they have their opportunity for their first appearance or for their bond or probation hearing. Another type of court, some of our juvenile courts are going on, not all of ours, but some of our juvenile cases are going on. And our domestic violence, if there needs to be an ex parte order entered in domestic violence, those type matters are still going on. Please know that everyone at the judicial branch who works at the courthouse, we're finding innovative ways to move cases forward. I know recently one of our Superior Court judges had civil motions held by WebEx, and that's only if the parties consented through their attorneys. So we were able to hear some cases that were scheduled to be heard at a certain period of time and not postponing them because we could do it by WebEx. But that's kind of an outline of the cases that are being postponed and the cases that are still being heard. And if you had a case, a traffic ticket or something like that, that is being postponed between March the 16th and the end of May, again, you can call the clerk's office at 252-695-7100 and ask to speak with the clerk in the appropriate division to find out when your case has been continued, or you can go to www.nccourts.gov to search your name for your new court date. I want to take a minute to talk about court cost and things. Our cashier's office is still open if there's a court fine or fee or something that you're required to pay. However, many fees can be paid online, so you could go to www.nccourts.gov again and look up options to pay online. There have been some types of fines and fees that have been continued by the Chief Justice and by local rules, so you may want to call first just to check the status of your requirement to pay. That would be, again, calling the clerk's office at 252-695-7100. Our magistrate's office is located at the Pitt County Detention Center off of New Hope Road. They are operating 24/7 just like they do in non-pandemic times. However, there have been some restrictions on the time that marriages are conducted. Magistrates can conduct marriages, and the Chief Justice has issued a recent order that says marriages should continue as long as they can safely be done, and that the Chief District Court Judge can issue some restrictions of marriages. So I'm going to share some information that's recently come out about marriages in Pitt County. And effective on April the 23rd, magistrates will perform marriages in Pitt County on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 10 to 2 p.m. That's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. There will only be one wedding held per hour, and the parties may need to contact the magistrate's office at 252-695-7395. And if parties are getting married, the parties marrying the two people and two witnesses are the only persons allowed to enter the magistrate's office. So if you have questions about marriages, the timing of that, you can call the magistrate's office. Another issue that we have in non-pandemic times, but also there's been a slight uptick across the state and the nation in domestic violence. And I want to speak to that because domestic violence resources are still available to you, and the court is still handling domestic violence cases during the pandemic. These are essential matters that need to be handled. So first and foremost, if you're in an urgent, immediate domestic violence situation, please call 911. 911 operators are there 24/7. We have posted at our courthouse in Pitt County, and I'm sure across the state, information about what to do if you are a victim of domestic violence, because the courthouse does remain open to you. Again, you are encouraged, if you're in immediate danger, to call 911. If you need to reach out to a domestic violence advocate, if you're a victim of domestic violence, if you live in the city of Greenville, you can call Greenville Police at 252-329-4181. That's 252-329-4181. If you live in Pitt County outside of the limits of the city of Greenville, you can call the Pitt County Sheriff's Department advocates at 252-902-2665. That's 252-902-2665. Or you may call the Center for Domestic Violence Prevention at 252-758-4400. That's 758-4400. So we have signs posted about this at the courthouse, at the magistrate's office. We also have them posted in Spanish. So if you are a victim of domestic violence, if it's immediate danger, please call 911. If you're looking to speak with an advocate and perhaps file some type of petition for ex parte hearing, you can still reach out to the City of Greenville Police Department or the Sheriff's Department or the Center for Prevention of Family Violence. One of the last things I'd like to talk about is what to do if you lose a loved one during this pandemic and we still have the restrictions in place at the courthouse. As the clerk of court, our office handles many jobs. We are the record keeper of the courthouse. We take in payments to the court system. We're a fiduciary. We sometimes hold money in trust. We provide judicial administrative assistance to judges as they're in the courtroom. And as your clerk, as I mentioned earlier, I'm the ex officio judge of probate, having jurisdiction over certain types of cases. And the types of cases that I have jurisdiction over and hear hearings are estate matters and special proceedings, which can be foreclosures, guardianships, name changes, legitimization hearings, and a lot of matters dealing with real estate of an estate or a ward of or a minor. So when people lose loved ones who reside here in Pitt County, their families, they certainly consult with an attorney first, and the attorney may contact our office or provide paperwork to our office, but many people call or come into our office after their loved one has died. Usually they call and we'll tell them we'll set up an appointment if we are able to do so, or we can tell them they'll walk in and please bring in a will if they have it, or please bring in the death certificate. But during these pandemic restrictions, especially through the end of May, we are asking that our estate families please call us first before coming into the courthouse. We are doing our very best to help you. We're going to help you by telephone. Hopefully we can get your email address and we can email you some forms, or if you don't have email, we can mail you those forms. We're trying to do our very best to help you do what you need to do to handle a loved one's assets after they pass away, given the constraints of the pandemic. So for the estate division, the telephone number is 252-695-7111. That's 252-695-7111. Now, in most situations, there's not a rush for you to call our office. There's not a date by which you need to call our office. You can wait a couple weeks or so. If you do call us, we are going to have to ask for the death certificate. And to keep you from having to bring it in, our Register of Deeds, Lisa Nichols, their office has been very kind. If your loved one passes away in Pitt County, we email them a couple of times a day, and they fax over the death certificates to us, so we have that information and you don't have to come over to the courthouse. Even recently, I have started assisting a family whose loved one died in another county, and I was able to call that Register of Deeds office, and I was able to have the death certificate faxed into our office so we could start open an estate file and start helping this family. But one of the first things we have to have is proof of death. It might be that you need to come in very quickly to drop off perhaps an original will or something like that, or drop off some paperwork if you can't mail it in. But again, we're trying to limit that and trying to help you as much as we can over the phone. Ordinarily, we would meet with you personally, and we'd like to hear about your family member, and we like to support you. I will tell you that what we provide you is information about options you have after a loved one passes away. We cannot give you legal advice that's prohibited by statute. I myself am a licensed attorney, have been a licensed attorney for 28 years, and your clerk of court for going on 13 years now. But even I cannot give you legal advice because it's prohibited by statute. And my staff members, a few are licensed attorney or have been to law school, but none of my staff members can give you legal advice either. But we can give you information. There are many forms. A form for starting probate, or a form for a year's allowance, or a form for an application for the clerk to administer estate if it's a small estate, and perhaps we're going to be taking in money from a checking account and perhaps paying it on the funeral bill, or to reimbursing someone who paid the funeral bill. So there's we have forms and information we can provide to you, but we cannot give you legal advice. But we're here to help you in this difficult time. But just call first at 252-695-7111, and we will do our best to help you in this situation. I'll give you a couple of things that are sometimes very easy to do when you've lost a loved one. It depends on the circumstances, and losing a loved one is not easy, but we hope there's some things that the state allows us to do that can make the process a little smoother for you during your time of grief. And if you have lost a spouse, there's something called a year's allowance that you can apply for within the first year of death. And if your spouse had $60,000 worth of personal property solely in his or her name, we can assign that to the surviving spouse. We can also assign a year's allowance to minor children or children under 22 who are still in school, like a 20-year-old college student. We can assign up to $5,000 of personal property per child. Again, if the deceased parent had that in personal property. So there's some simple things that we can help you in that time, but do please call us at 252-695-7111 and give us a little chance to call you back. Most court offices, by direction of the administrative office of the courts, are trying to space out workers, so we may be half-staffed on every day, but we are working hard and working after 5 o'clock, especially in the estates division, to return your phone call and try to start the process to help you. Another thing that people inquire of our estates and special proceedings office at the clerk's office is guardianships. Perhaps your parent is getting older and is showing some signs of dementia, and perhaps they have not signed powers of attorneys or healthcare powers of attorney so that you can act on their behalf when they're unable to. Or maybe someone in your family has had a sudden medical emergency during this pandemic. I know several people that are in that situation, that the family member is in the hospital and can't take care of their finances, cannot make decisions for themselves because of this medical emergency. Or perhaps you have a minor child getting ready to turn 18, and they have some kind of disability that would prevent them from making decisions on their own once they turn 18. There is a process called guardianship. It is a process that you can get an attorney for, or you can come into our office and pick up a guardianship packet, or again, during this pandemic, if you call us at 252-695-7111, we will be happy to try to mail it or send it to you. But there is a way to start the process. We have the forms to have a guardianship hearing if your loved one, someone cannot make decisions on their own. We are going to need some medical documentation of that. A guardian ad litem attorney is going to be appointed, and that attorney is going to have to meet with your loved one that is having difficulty making decisions, and going to have to meet with family members and things like that, and perhaps talk to doctors. We are trying to postpone any of those type hearings that are non-urgent until June 1st or after, but if there is an urgent, immediate need where the person who cannot make decisions for themselves, their person or their finances is some way going to be negatively impacted, we again are trying to find safe ways to have those hearings. So I know I had a family come in our office not long ago with their 17-year-old son who knew that at 18 they were going to need guardianship. So we gave them the paperwork, but if you find yourself in that situation, call our office. We can do guardianship hearings after minors turn 17 and a half. So that's some information for you to know. I hope this has been helpful to you. I know it's a lot of information. The key things to keep in mind are unless you are required to by your attorney or you're required to by the court, please do not come to the courthouse. Call first to see if we can help you with a matter without your having to come in. If you are required to come in for something, but you have symptoms or exposure to the COVID virus, please call the clerk's office at 252-695-7111 and let our office know of your situation so we can tell the court. Again, most courts, however, are continued to June 1st or after. So if that applies to you, and you haven't gotten a letter in the mail, or you want to know when your new court date is, go online at www.nccourts.gov or call the clerk's office again at 252-695-7100. And if you've lost a loved one, or perhaps you have an urgent situation where you may need to start the process of seeking guardianship for a loved one, you can call directly our Estates Division and Guardianship Division at 252-695-7111. So again, keep those numbers in mind. Call first. We're happy to help you as much as we can over the phone or by email, trying to limit the spread of the virus and people coming into the courthouse when it's not absolutely necessary. And also, first and foremost, again, stay safe, practice hand washing, practice social distancing, staying away from other people, not in your direct home, 6 feet or more, wearing a mask in public if you so choose. These restrictions are going to be with us for a while. Even if some of our businesses open up and we start having more courts down the road, we're still going to need to practice these safety precautions because this virus is going to be with us for a while. So we need to practice social distancing, washing hands and things like that to keep ourselves safe. So I hope you and your family are safe at your house. Please know the clerk's office and the people who work at the courthouse, representing the judicial offices, the sheriff's office, the register of deeds. We're still working for you and very hard for you, although we're doing it a little bit different as we all do our part to try to stop the spread of this virus. Again, I'm Sara Beth, Fulford, Rhodes, your elective clerk of Superior Court of Pitt County, and our clerk's office number is 252-695-7100. And if we can help you with any questions regarding the court system, please give us a call. Thank you and have a nice day.